Hey YouTube, Kevin Cleary here with a gear video for you, and today we're looking at the Crkt combat stripping tool. Now, this was designed, this is part of the Crkt Forged by War program, designed by Kelly Rodriguez, who is a military medic, and she wanted an alternative to the typical medical shears that you've probably seen. But she wanted something that didn't have any moving parts to break or get gummed up. And essentially, she came up with a pretty simple design. It's a safety razor, just contained in a handle. One, a handle so that you can get a hold of this, get a grip on it. But two, a handle that's designed to keep this blade away from cutting stuff that you don't want to cut. In addition, there's an O2 wrench here, or an oxygen wrench here, and a measurement. Not sure what the measurement would be good for. I guess you could maybe measure for a collar, but probably most of us are trained to use our fingers anyway for that role. Oh yeah, it is sort of tapered at this end, so you can do some light prying as well. Blades switch out just by pushing up on this side, and then that blade pops out. And those blades, it takes the feather safety razors, and I did look into those. You can buy them online, about 50 cents each, like 10 for $5 or something like that. You can buy larger quantities as well, but that's just sort of, you know, what I thought would be a normal number for people to want. Size and weight on this, and then I'll tell you how the rest of this video is going to work. So size and weight is 8 inches overall. The blade is 2 inches, so you got 2 inches of cutting length here. 1.5 ounces, so very, very lightweight at 1.5 ounces, and even with the sheath, it only weighs 2.7 ounces. Now, the sheath is set up to be pretty compatible with just about any carry system, whether it's like a duty belt or molly webbing or whatever else. I may put this into my bunker gear. I'm trying to think of the best way to get that done. So we'll see how all of that plays out. Now, for the rest of the video, we're not going to be here with the tabletop. What I did was got some help from 3 different people. Number one, the star of the show that you're going to see in a second is Rescue Randy. Now, he is the rescue dummy that we use at the Meaford Fire Department for all of our training. We've got him dressed up in some clothing, and then I got a couple other firefighters, both with strong medical backgrounds. One who Gord, who is a military medic, and the other, Jeremy, who's a first responder and has worked a lot on the ski patrol. Both of them have a lot of practical real-world experience. So what I did was I got them to kind of use this tool, put it through its paces alongside a pair of medical shears and a folding knife. And I'm going to put that footage in right here for you so you can see how all of that went down and what their thoughts were on the tool. So here they come right now. Guys, you want to weigh in here? What might require us to take the clothes off of a patient?
If anyone was found not breathing, we would need to gain access to the chest as quickly as we could in order to get defibrillation pads on, possibly start CPR. Another reason that I've seen that we'd need to gain access to somebody's skin would be for a suspected compound fracture, possibly in the arm, upper arm, femur area or something like that.
Yeah, any trauma that you have on a patient, you want to be able to cut and expose just to see what you're dealing with.
Cool. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Would you guys like to start at the upper body or the lower body, and I can adjust the camera accordingly?
I'm going to start up here.
Okay, cool.
As if he's not breathing,
Yeah.
and then expose the chest kind of thing.
Perfect. So go ahead, guys. We'll let you start with that, and then you can also, there's a knife there and medical shears and just however.
I'm going to go, so if this was a situation I needed to get somebody exposed quickly, I would probably, with the shears, I would come in and cut up, but from here I would just try, wow.
Wow, I was right.
That was pretty quick.
Through 2 layers too.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, so let's move on and try the pants then. For this one, let's do one guy with the tool from Crkt and the other guy with the shears.
Let's pick a leg and go one.
Yeah, just pick a leg. Try to leave room for the other guy to get in there as well. And I'll try to situate the camera so that I can catch everything.
You're starting from the bottom, I'll start from the top?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead, guys.
Cuts through that thick stuff pretty easily.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So any thoughts so far?
It's easy to use. Make sure it works with that thick double layered jean.
Yeah, I came in with the scissors. You could see even just doing this, trying to cut through the scissors with the scissors, you're stuck in one area for a length of time, but you came down from the top real quick.
Yeah, I mean, and I've never picked this up before. To be able to pick it up and use it like that, it's pretty simple.
Cool. One thing that I can think of is on the rescue tool there, you have an exposed blade all the time. I guess you'd carry it with the sheath all the time, but that does possibly present a small amount of risk.
Yeah.
Let's have you both just do the arms.
I really like starting from the top, like, to be able to cut through that stuff so easily. We got 2 layers over here too, there's one right there.
I found there with the folding knife, I first came in, I would have stabbed the person in the arm there because the tip did dig into the Randy. And then getting up towards the top here, I was concerned about actually hitting my own hand with it. I didn't have those concerns with,
Yeah, you can do
with that. I wasn't worried about hitting the blade as I was cutting, as I was with this knife here.
Yep.
I guess you do have to kind of focus on keeping that down like that, because as soon as you start coming, you still have that protection here. But if you were to go crossways, like on somebody's arm, or if you're trying to cut down, kind of like what I was doing, sawing, you might...
Like even coming around these types of areas here, you might...
Yeah, exactly.
You might come
you
in
have to be a little bit more conscious of that.
I've got a bag here, and inside is balloons. And so the idea here is that, let's use the shears and the rescue tool there and see how we make out. So the idea is to see how gentle we can be and make sure that we don't break any of those balloons on the inside.
Starting this might be an issue.
The rescue shears for sure. I can rest right up against that balloon. Like I can even push down on it and cut.
Nice.
They've got this real nice protective edge right there that allow that to even slide like that on the balloon with no damage at all.
Perfect.
Once
All
I
right.
got it started, it wasn't so bad.
Okay, so there you go, guys. Now, one question I have to finish this off is, given the option either to carry rescue shears or to carry the tool, what are you thinking and why?
If I had to choose one,
Yeah. Even maybe for your bunker gear or in a pocket or something like that.
I would stick with the shears,
Same.
just based on it could be used for different applications, whereas this is just a straight cutting tool. This could be used for, if I thought back into my ski patrol background, cutting helmet straps or goggle straps.
Right.
That might be a little bit difficult
Bandages
to
and
do.
everything.
Bandages. This is good for cutting like field dressings or things that you would use on hill, maybe cravats or gauze. Whereas it might be a little cumbersome to try and cut that material.
and like you said, Kevin, when you're done with the scissors, you just put them down. Whereas this, I'd be a little bit more worried about what I did with it. I'd want to get it back in the sheath, or I don't want to put my hand on it. And even now, I think just cutting through that, you probably have to change the blade quite often.
Yep, that's another thought that I had as well. It's sort of a
Because-
razor blade style.
Yeah, exactly. You'd have to probably, a couple of uses, and that's pretty much it.
Uh-huh.
But I think that's why they designed it that way too.
Awesome. I guess the other point that the designer makes when she's talking about it is that she was working in a really dirty environment in the sandbox, and what she found was that her shears would get all gummed up with sand and
Yeah,
stuff,
for sure.
and so she wanted something with no moving parts. So that was part of the consideration on the design there.
If another consideration that I could make, or another point I could make about this, is if I was on hill in a patrol environment, I could use that a lot easier with my gloves on than I could with this. So keeping in mind the elements, and if I'm in a pretty snowy situation, that might be
On
easier.
speed alone,
Yeah.
like, these are pretty quick. And
Yeah.
You could probably find many different ways to actually speed it up even more.
Awesome. All right, thanks guys. Let's wrap it up with that, and thanks for helping out.
No problem.
Thank you.
Okay, so now that we've seen the video with this actually in use, you can see that it's pretty effective. It doesn't necessarily replace medical shears, as a couple of the guys pointed out. There are still some things that you'd probably want a pair of medical shears for, and I can't imagine putting a trauma bag, for example, together without a pair or two. However, I could see this being extremely useful for sort of a fast approach where, you know, it's gross motor skills. You can pull it out, you make your cut, and you can see in the video that you're going to get very, very fast access. Now, one thing I want to point out now that we've gotten through the video is the blade that we used. You can see we did about 4 cuts there, and this blade is horrible. Like, you could literally not cut anything. I can push down with my thumb on this. It is as dull as it can be. So if you're going to pick up one of these, definitely go ahead. It ships with 2 blades. And Crkt, if you're watching, you may want to switch that out and start shipping it with 5 blades, just because those blades, it's a one and done type of operation. Okay, you're not going to get multiple uses out of a single blade. So if you're going to buy this, I would say go ahead and buy, you know, a good quantity of the feather blades, the feather safety razors as well. By way of sort of overall take on this, if it's, you know, for a reasonable price, and I think these sell for around $15, which is not that bad, it does give you a really useful, really fast tool that you can use with gloves on. That's, you know, sort of gross motor skills where you're not having to try to be very dexterous if your hands are cold or if you're highly stressed, which you usually are in a medical emergency. There's some utility to that. So my overall take on this and where it really shines is that it's very lightweight, it's very easy to use, it's very easy to carry, and it's very fast. Now, some other roles and some other versatility, I would say you'd still want a pair of medical shears around, but this can definitely be a good supplement. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll talk to you soon.